Second, we are not political animals. And third, we are absolutely destitute. I write this because it is my earnest wish to tell you. It is not because Noguchi told me to do so. I write simply so that this poor soul, who still cannot fathom why he was born into this world, may end his life in peace in the coming days. Here, I will briefly describe where a person such as I was born, how I was raised, and how I find myself where I am. Memories of my home have recently been welling up inside me as if to stir my entire being. But in contrast to my feelings, the lackluster words that surface make me sound rather detached. Perhaps my sense of reason bottles them up to keep me from losing my mind. I was born in 1915 in the village of Herai in Aomori Prefecture. My family home was in the Tamodai district of that same village. In addition to working as tenant farmers on about an acre of land, my family kept a broodmare offered on loan by the landowner. Since it was difficult to feed a family of 8 by these means alone, my parents also assisted charcoal burners, though they were not part of the district's Kitakawame Union of charcoal burners. The reason for this was that in my family there was no money to purchase lumber for burning coal, nor the luxury to hire men to help with logging. As is well known, the Tohoku region suffers from poor harvests once every 3 years or so, but the years 1931, 1934, and 1935 were especially hard hit with severe continuous famine. Out of the 4 children in my family, my elder brother did not attend school, and, being the second eldest son, before I reached school age, I was adopted by the family who operated Okamura Merchants Wholesale Seafood in Hachinohe, while my younger sister, at 14, and not even halfway through her studies at Kawadai Secondary School, was employed at the Fuji Spinning Mill in Kawasaki. And my younger brother, who had a minor disability in his left eye, became an apprentice at the Kanemoto Foundry in Hachinohe when he was 12. The truth was, since my birth family never owned any paddy fields in the first place, I doubt our situation would have been very different whether there was a famine or not. Furthermore, my older brother was drafted in 1937. He was assigned to the 108th Division and was killed in the Shanxi province of China in May of 1939. When his draft papers had arrived, my birth family was impoverished because of the stillbirth of a colt for the 2nd year in a row, but I heard that before leaving for war, my brother asked them not to part with the mare until his return. I can only narrate these things through hearsay, of course, since by that time I belonged to a different family. Although I have always been scrawny in stature and was never a very active child, in the Okamura family I was cherished as their heir. However, life does not work out so easily. After the sudden passing of my adoptive mother, Ikuko Okamura, in 1929, my adoptive father, Yaichiro, remarried and immediately had a son, and there was no longer a place for me. Nevertheless, thanks to this turn of events, I was given permission to focus on my education, which I liked very much. After graduating from Hachinohe Middle School and Daini High School, I enrolled in the Department of Science at Tohoku Imperial University, and during the time I was living in Sendai, the destitution of my birth home was already a distant memory. As I write this, I realize it may seem as if my life to this point had been rather blessed, but in 2 ways this was not the case. First, my body always remembered poverty. The life of a prosperous merchant family never sunk in physically. Second, no matter whether I was in the village of Herai or the town of Hachinohe, to my eyes it all appeared as a frigid scene where the cold wind from the Pacific blew ceaselessly. When I returned to Hachinohe in 1942 after being called to war, activity was bustling all around. The people going to work on the construction of the Takadate airfield marched in line like ants along the bridge over Mabichi River, while on the embankment the factories of Nitto Chemical and Nihon Mineral belched out black smoke day and night, and the sounds of hammering echoed from the dockyards of Same Harbor and the Minato River as ships were hastily built. But neither this Hachinohe nor the brine